Welcome back to another episode. I am Sticks. This is my best friend and co-host D-Lo, and we are Too Complex. We got some really good content for y'all today. But before we get into that, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you miss none of these bangers.
Yes,
that
sir.
we drop every single week. But before we get into it, man, I want to give my boy D-Lo a very special happy birthday today, man. How it feel being 78, man? How it feel being 78? Senior citizen.
It feel good. I'm getting old out here, but I'm still living, so I can't complain.
I love it, man.
But yeah, man, today my birthday. I appreciate the birthday love, man. A lot of people been hitting me up, as you saw just before we started recording. Family members hit me up, telling me happy birthday and stuff. So
for sure,
feels good thinking about you and all that stuff. But yeah, out here getting old, can't complain though.
Hey man, I just want to say, man, I appreciate you for spending your birthday with me, bro. You know what I'm saying? As your brother, as your podcast co-host, you know what I'm saying? Soon to be business partner, already business partner. You know what I'm saying? And been knowing each other for so long, man, over 2 decades, bro. I just want to tell you I love you, bro, and happy birthday again, my G.
I appreciate it, man. Love you too. Yeah, it's only up from here.
Only up from here, man. But other than that, man, how was the week, bro?
The week was good. I want to say thank you for coming to visit last week. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Appreciate you coming visiting last week, man. That was a good time. Glad that you were able to come to the East Coast, get you a good recharge before you went back west. As you mentioned, today's my birthday. Spent some time today, as always, with the family. We went to a water park, and then Stacy went and got the traditional nothing bundt cakes for my birthday.
And that tastes good too, boy. Ooh, I love them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you did have them when you was here.
Damn, Father's Day, yeah, Father's Day, man. Yeah, she went all out last week, but them red velvet bundt cakes be fire, boy.
Yeah, they good. I can't say what I want to say. No, I can't. They're good and moist, and they got
That's got to be the funniest word in the English language. I swear to God. But
they got the cream cheese. They got the cream cheese frosting, but yeah, they're real good, man. But now we here. We here getting ready for the podcast. How are you? How was your time over here on this side last week? Can I ask?
You can ask that question, fam. You can ask that question. But the time was amazing, man. It was, I had been homesick for a long time, bro. And I've been wanting to come home for a minute. Just, financially, it wasn't able to make that happen. But I was glad that I was able to come, spend Father's Day and Juneteenth with the family, spend Father's Day with you and your family. You know what I'm saying? And, we'll get into that. We'll get into that later. You know what I'm saying? But of course. But somebody else made that very, very special for me too, and you know who you are, and I appreciate you for that. I appreciate that.
The messages,
but no, it was good, man. It was good, man. I had a really, really good time. Thank you for allowing me to stay with you. Welcome me into the home. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm
always,
brother, but always, you know what I'm saying? And hopefully one time y'all can get to come out here and I can show y'all a good time. You feel me?
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll make that happen too. But the week was great. You know what I'm saying? Still trying to plug along and make sure I got my next steps ready. And about to be spending time with Sam for the next few weeks because she on summer break now. So I get to have her for a longer extended time now. So it's going to be perfect, man. It's going to be great for the summer, bro. Summer is up, bro. Summer is up.
That's what's up. Summer's ours. The winter too. Top down in the winter. That's what winners do.
Yeah, that boy going crazy.
Yeah.
Fast.
Let's get right into it, though, man. Get into the podcast today. Tyler Perry supposedly, proverbially, is bringing the soul back into BET as he's on the verge of purchasing BET and VH1. What's your thoughts on that?
Man, it's great, man. I'm looking forward to having that network back in the hands of our people. You know what I'm saying? Because I think over the last decade, it has not been. But it's amazing.
2001, I think 2003, something like that. 2001. It's 2001. Yeah.
So for the past over 20 years, it hasn't been in the hands of Black entertainment. Yeah. So it's going to be great to have him with that, plus that and VH1 in the hands of our people, and it's going to be great, man, because he already set forth the BET Plus, the streaming platform that everybody's been using, and it's been great. He's been streaming his plays and his movies on there pretty religiously, which is great for him as well. He's already got his own network, which is good, his own studio, which is great. But him getting BET and VH1 is going to be amazing because, I mean, his his entertainment mind is going to be able to carry that over to the next level, and hopefully they can come together and get the price right, because that's the one thing that he's got a problem with right now, is that he thinks $3 billion is a little bit too much. But I mean, they have so much in debt. I think it's like 15 million in debt that they have, that they need to the 15 billion in debt that they have to cut into, and they were saying anything less than 3 billion is going to be, they can't even do that because they have to cut into that debt. So I mean, I understand the business aspect of it, and I understand why Tyler Perry and his team wants to kind of cut that back a little bit, but I kind of want them to come to an agreement at some point, because with Tyler Perry at the helm, and owning these two networks is going to be great. But what you think?
So I'm glad you brought the business aspect of it into play already, because I do also think it would be a good move for BET to be back in the hands of a black individual. But while I like the idea of it, I don't think it's a good investment right now.
I was about to say that too. I agree.
Especially because so many individual households are cutting the cord. And, BET, it does have a streaming side of things now with BET Plus. It's always included in the basic cable package. So 100%. If people are cutting the cord, that means there's going to be less eyes on BET. And as you mentioned, since 2001 or whenever Paramount Global purchased, or Viacom at the time when they purchased it, but they're now Paramount Global. Whenever they purchased BET, BET was like the thing. You had 106 in Park, you had Rap City, The Basement, you had all those iconic cultural shows that we all rushed home from school. Well, you and I didn't. We was at practice and stuff. But we didn't get home like 8 o'clock at night.
And all that stuff was already going off, brother. I promise you.
It was go. But nah, you had what else? 106 in Park, Rap City, The Basement, those type of shows that were on Parkers and stuff started to come on a little bit later. But those type of shows,
Moesha, those shows too. Yep.
They were so iconic and influential in our culture, and now it's just like BET is kind of stale. The vibe is not right with BET right now. So hopefully, if they do get the price right, for Tyler Perry to take over BET, then he can bring back that swag that BET had. But I don't think it's a great investment right now, although it would be good for BET to be back in black hands.
But I mean, and you know what? You brought up a good point, because I just thinking about it now, just through this conversation, it might not be a good business move for him right now, because they have so much million in debt, like $15 million in debt. I'm sorry, I keep saying million. 15 billion with a B, $15 billion in debt, and they're only turning over like about almost a little bit, like 350 million in profit year over year since March of 2021. So it's like since 2001. So I mean, the debt and the profit don't fit right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Especially with them being in debt over the past 20 years, and it's like, should Tyler really buy this? And is he only buying it because it's black entertainment? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because, Tyler Perry is that guy. He's about his people. He's about black culture. He's about, black women, black empowerment. He's about that. And for BET to not be in the hands of our people and our culture, I can understand why he would want to buy BET. But with the debt and the price, is that really a good business move?
Yeah. I mean, it only makes sense. Somebody from our culture that represents us, that tells our stories, how we want them to be told, regardless of how you feel about Tyler Perry or not. Right. He does do his best to tell our stories and paint us in a positive picture. There may be some avenues that he takes to get painting those pictures that people don't really agree with, but his own individual story from what he came from to who he is now, and telling those stories and going on the Chitlin circuit with the Medea show, creating Diary of a Mad Black Woman, and then into these different TV shows that he come out. It's only right that somebody like him, somebody of his caliber, takes the helms at BET. Like you said, he already owns 25% of BET Plus. It looks like it feels like he owns BET already with as many shows that he has on the network. So it's only right. I just hope that they get the numbers right to, they can come to agreement with the numbers and that he can take it over, even though I said earlier it may not be a good investment for him. We'll get into something a little bit later on with Michael Jordan, talking about him selling a team. But, the Hornets probably weren't seen as a good investment for Jordan at the time. So. And now it's looking like he's going to be able to sell that team at a $2.7 or $2.9 billion profit. So, I mean,
yeah. Exactly. But I mean, you already know VH1 is the home of the reality TV. So that's what they have TV. On. That's what I call it too. I'm glad you said that because I call it that too. Because reality TV to me is just like, oh my god, reality but scripted, crazy. So I mean, that's the home of that. So a lot of our people kind of flood to VH1 for those type of TV shows. And BET just definitely needs to get back to what it used to be because Paramount, since they bought it, like you said, Brad, it has not been the same. It hasn't been the same BET that we remember. So hopefully he can come back in and bring that culture back into BET because that's what I'm looking for. That's definitely what I'm looking for. But the pivot just a little bit to something a little bit more serious, bro. Conor McGregor is on a SA. I'm gonna just say SA because YouTube kind of sensitive. Is on an SA charge right now.
Yeah.
After following the. Right? Well, it's allegations as of right now, but the young lady has already filed and she's gone to the police and she's given her story. She has a lawyer behind everything now too. So following the finals game, game 4, he got this charge going on, and it's looking like it's getting kind of deep. What you think about Conor McGregor, bro?
I'm not surprised by this. Honestly, I'm not surprised by these allegations at all against Conor McGregor. He's had multiple allegations of similar types in the past. Somehow they've gotten, it doesn't necessarily mean anything, but, they have those allegations were dropped in the past. But if this is to go to court, I'm 100% sure that the lawyer is going to plead a case of, a pattern. This is a pattern of his character and being the fact that he's had allegations come up against him in the past. And now this type of allegation is coming up. Are we just going to sweep this under the rug like we did last time? No. So I'm really not surprised that this is the case. He comes off as, I'm just not surprised by this at all. I'll just say that.
He does come off as a very brash individual, very cocky, very, one of those kind of guys. And, it doesn't surprise me either, given his past and given the things that he has been alleged to have done back in the day. But I mean, I've been trying to be sensitive in this topic because, I mean, I know our topic is 99% men and we love y'all, but the 0.00001 of women that watch this show.
Watch our stuff.
Right, exactly. I'm gonna try to be sensitive to this topic because I mean, from what they say happened with the situation is that she was hanging around him in VIP in a club after the game. Okay, and apparently she was called to the bathroom and he forced her to do some things in the restroom. My thing is, why did it take so long to report these things? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because apparently she went to the police station at like 4 or 5 in the morning after all this happened. All this happened. She went home, thought about it, then went to the police instead of like saying something at the moment. I mean, I feel like I would have, if I was in that situation, me personally, and something was happening like that, I would have said something in the moment. Like I would have went to the police even on site. Like, hey, this is what happened to me. Like, can we get, you know what I'm saying? And opposed to waiting hours after the fact, going home and, but I understand like if it's traumatizing and you really don't understand what's going on, then you have to have some time to kind of like put 2 and 2 together. And I'm not saying that this didn't happen to her. All I'm saying is it should have been reported a little bit sooner.
Yeah, but I mean, so you said it happened after the game, right? So the
Yeah.
game, the fourth game started at 8:30, right? Eastern time.
Eastern
And
time.
so the game went for at least 2.5 hours. That's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Then they're in the club 11:30, 12:30, maybe 12 to 2 or whatever. So in that time, from 12 to 2 in the morning is when allegedly
Okay,
everything
I see what you're saying.
transpired,
Yeah.
right?
I got
So,
you.
of course, she's not going to go right away because she's still trying to gather herself with whatever happened, if it did happen,
Right.
right? And then from
Right.
there, she goes and says, "Okay, no, I'm going to report this." Even if it took her a couple of days to go to the police about this, I don't think it was too long of a time. For
Makes
me,
sense.
the fact that she went that quick is even it could be even more telling of the situation, if we being
Very true.
honest.
I agree. I can agree with that. Just that's so I'm glad we had these conversations, because prior to this, I was like, oh, like, why she take so long? But sometimes I don't take time to break things down as much as I possibly should sometimes. So that's why I'm glad
Yeah,
I got you to my side, to make
yeah.
sure that I'm looking at things the right way. But like you said, but when she went to the precinct, they sent her home. Then she went back
Mhm.
again, and they was trying. It was a whole bunch of back and forth with the police departments, telling her, "Hey, if you do this, it's gonna go viral. I don't think you want this to go viral. And blah blah blah. You might want to come back with a
Yeah.
lawyer. This, that, the third." And apparently, the NBA, and it's allegedly, the NBA and the Miami Heat offer her $100,000 in hush money to not say nothing.
Yeah, that's
Bruh.
the part that's kind of weird to me is it's either gamesmanship by her lawyer or somebody on McGregor's team is trying to play her, so to speak, and try to make it seem like it's not them that's trying to quiet her. Because to me, maybe the Heat makes sense, but the NBA doesn't make sense
Right. It
because the
doesn't make sense at all.
NBA, the NBA has nothing to do with Conor McGregor. He has a partnership with his brand, and the reason he was there that night, he has a partnership with his brand in the Miami Heat. So, if the Heat were the ones, if the Heat have more skin in the game with Conor McGregor than the NBA, because if the NBA
100%.
was paying for Conor McGregor, who does nothing to their bottom line, then all those domestic charges that individuals got in the past that are on NBA teams, actual NBA teams, you would have thought they would have stuck their nose in and said, "All right, let's hey, can we keep this on the hush hush? We'll give you this
Right.
amount of money." But no, they didn't. They let whatever played out in court or wherever it needed to play out, and then they took the punishment. Same thing with the people that we've been talking about in the last 2-3 weeks, 2 months or so, John Morant and Zion Williams, so on and so forth. They would take it upon themselves to get themselves, the NBA that is, get involved with these situations and try to pay off these individuals. But no, I if anything, I think it would be the Miami Heat. But I don't even think it's the Miami Heat. I think it's like some gamesmanship from her lawyer trying to get more attention brought to this, so it is carried out in court. And they do get some say so in court.
Yeah, because both organizations, they categorically denied it. They was like, nah, we ain't pay her. We ain't try to pay her nothing to keep this quiet, because, if it happened, it happened. If it didn't, it didn't. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's at this point, it's he say, she say, because nobody,
Right.
there's no video evidence that this happened. Of course, you can't put videos in the bathroom because that's
Right.
privacy,
Privacy.
against privacy laws. So, I mean, it's going to have to play out in court. And like you said, it makes no sense for the NBA to get involved in it at all. It makes no sense at all for the NBA to get involved in it. Because like you said, if that's the case, then all these cases in the past would have been taken care of by the NBA. So
Right.
and so that's not true. But I just, Conor, I guess he comes off as a brash individual. This is something that I'm not surprised by. D-Lo said he's not surprised by. But he has a beautiful family though, beautiful wife, beautiful kids, on the verge of having a fourth now. So like, bro, like, why are you out here wilding out? Like, you know what I'm saying? You're not even the biggest star in MMA no more, to be perfectly honest with you. So it's about time for you to like take a back seat, bro. Like for real, just take care of your family and stop being out here wilding out. But I can't tell people how they live their life, bro. I can't do it.
No, you can't. But when an individual, and this might not be his personality, I do want to say that this is just an opinion of mine, how he comes off to me, and apparently other individuals feel the same. Because when I was Googling and doing some research about Conor McGregor himself, some of the first things that came up why is Conor McGregor such a douche? Why is Conor McGregor such an arrogant individual? Why is Conor McGregor so entitled? He just comes off so entitled. And then, it's not you and I. That's not our personality. But we know some individuals that are very arrogant. And when arrogance, entitlement, and urges come together, that's a bad thing. And so I feel like if he is arrogant, which it appears he is, and he did have those urges, especially in a man, and I don't want to generalize, but I am a man, so I can kind of talk to this a little bit more. When arrogance and urges come together, you feel and you get denied by something that you feel you shouldn't be entitled to. Yeah, you're entitled to. You do things that you probably shouldn't do, and so again, these are all allegations. I want to state that, but I can see it.
I can see it happening because that's who he comes off. He comes off as this type of individual. But I mean, and like you said, he's had these same allegations in the past, so it's not shocking at all, to be perfectly honest. But I mean, Burber got to get it together.
Tell, man. Yeah, we'll see.
Burber got to get it together.
Hopefully, I won't say hopefully. If it goes to court, we'll see what the story is and all the evidence that presents itself.
For sure.
All right, so let's talk about the submarine tragedy that's taken the country by storm and grabbed our attentions this last week. What? How do you feel about this, Sticks?
Bro, so I wonder if I can say. Can I say? Okay. The first thing I want to say is you ain't gonna see none of our people doing nothing stupid like this. And I'm gonna call
the mass majority of us, yes, but I wouldn't say
99.9999% of us would not be like, I'm not going down there to see the Titanic. I saw the movie. I don't need to see the wreckage. And also, we ain't spending $250,000 to go see the shit.
So that's the part that disqualifies us. But
100%.
I would say. You said 99.999. I'd say 95% of our people would not do this.
I'm saying, and we're not laughing at the tragedy. It's definitely a tragedy.
No.
We just kind of saying, this is. Never mind. But it's one of those things where it's like it was so many. It's so many. I saw so many things. I won't say wrong, but it seemed like it was such like a novice operation, bro. Like, did you? If you've been looking it up, the remote that was controlling this submarine looked like it was an off-brand Xbox remote.
Was that true or was that a meme though?
That's true. He was holding it in his. I saw a picture where he was holding it in his hand, sitting in the submarine.
But see, I cannot. It's just the climate that we live in right now with AI. I can't believe everything anymore. Like I look at stuff on the internet and I'm like what? Is this true? There's no way that this is true. And things could get generated. So if that picture is, I haven't seen that actual picture with the remote in his hand, but that would actually be crazy if that is true.
Crazy. It's crazy, bro. And I mean, but the way I feel about it is, I mean, They have reports, from family members that the 18-year-old kid was scared to death before this thing even happened. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to the families of these people who were lost in the submarine, going down to see the Titanic. Shout out to them, and our prayers are with y'all. I just it's reported that it imploded, which is a horrible way to pass away, because something to explode that deep in the water, it had to be like they're saying that the remains of these people are never going to be found, because something like that is something that there's no way that you can find these any body parts or anything like that. Like, they're scattered across the bottom of the ocean, and it's just crazy. Like, because you hear all these things about this submarine, and it's how it's dead bolted from the outside, and there's no way that I'm gonna say this one more time. There's no way I'm getting in that submarine, bro.
Yeah.
But I understand why it's deadbolted from the outside because of pressure as far as down as they're going. It could it could submerge. Water could possibly get in if it's not deadbolted from the outside. Like so, I get all that. I get all of the technical things that go with that. But I'm not getting in nowhere where I can't possibly free myself. Period.
Yeah.
Period. I'm not personally doing that. But that's just $250,000 to go down. What you think, D-Lo? $250,000 to go see the wreckage, bro. Like I'm not. You know how much? You know what I could do with $250,000 right now, D-Lo?
Listen, I know what you could do with $250,000. Buy this house if you wanted to,
and I would.
We didn't really give any backstory to this, so let me bring it here. Get this back to the point, right? Bring it full circle. So, multiple reports have come out that believe that the small submarine Titan imploded not long after being underwater. The ship and those on board were part of an exploration to view, as Sticks just mentioned, the wreckage for the Titanic, which famously sank in 1912. After losing communication with the mothership on Sunday, and a multiple-day search to locate the small submarine Titan ensued. Finally, on Thursday, searches and oceanic sound data, which that's weird to me too. That's amazing and weird at the same time. Have revealed that an implosion of the ship occurred. So, how I feel about this situation, Six, is I know people are very enthusiastic about exploring space and now exploring the sea, which they say we know more about space than we do our own ocean.
100%.
But I can't wrap my head around why people are so enamored with going to visit the wreckage of what was called the unsinkable ship, and it's at the bottom of the ocean. It's so far down that sunlight can't get to it.
Exactly.
So while I kind of agree with you that you won't see none of our people there, I'm sure somebody before these individuals that went, I'm sure somebody from our side went to see that wreckage. And I don't even really know what to say, man. It's tragedy, especially with an implosion. I looked up implosion because I heard it before, but I didn't really know what implosion was. Obviously, we've heard of an explosion, but when somebody said implosion, I had to go see what that looks like. And the videos weren't anything underwater, but it was giving you an example using train tanks, and it's so violent and so it looks so bad. So I can only imagine that happening 13,000 feet underwater, because then you have all the electronics that when it implodes, it then explodes. And so I feel bad for the family.
Yeah.
I feel bad for, I can't even say the company, because apparently they've done this or have been doing this multiple times.
I was going to mention that too. Yeah. They've already had a couple of successful explorations of the Titanic. This is just the one that, didn't. And the crazier part about it too is that they've been going around different laws and rules and regulations to be able to get this done. And they've been doing it in, out of country waters and stuff like that, just to make sure that they don't have to abide by some of the rules and regulations here in the States and stuff like that. So it's like, it was hearing all these things, bro. Like, I know you keep saying, and I don't mean me laughing isn't me laughing at the people. I promise you, it's just it's my way of, it's mind-boggling. It is very mind-boggling because it's so shocking that people really want to see this. Like me personally, I don't care, bro. Right. And I think that's 99.9% of our people don't give a fuck. We really don't. We really do not. And but they've had successful explorations before, so I can see why somebody else will want to go down there, and spending that much money on it is kind of crazy too. But I mean, I might spend 500. If you gonna get 500, but my life is worth way more than that. I'm not gonna lie to you. But
it's just a bad omen, though, right?
It is.
Like I mentioned earlier, you're going down to see the wreckage of what was known as the unsinkable ship. That's a bad omen.
It's a
And
bad omen.
then
Yeah.
on top of the fact, you keep mentioning the $250,000, right? So you have to pay $250,000. That is telling in and of itself. One, it says you have to have some money, obviously, to go see this. But it also says there is a risk in doing this. And speaking of the risk, the owner and the actual, I think he was a pilot of this exploration this time, has been on record saying, with I can't remember exactly what he said, but what he's basically was saying is, there's risk with getting out of the bed in the morning. There's risk with driving a car, so on and so forth. So if we're worried about these risks, then we would never accomplish anything. And he's been, he's had a lot of backlash, or some backlash. I can't say a lot of backlash because I don't think really a lot of people knew who he was until this accident.
Until this incident, yep.
Into this incident, but he's had some backlash about his carelessness in protecting and taking those type of risks. So, I mean, you're perfectly right in feeling how you felt, and trying to mask it with the laugh and whatnot, because there are some things that's like you said, mind-boggling about this situation. It's just.
Yeah, man. It's so scary. It's so scary to think about, man, because it's like I wouldn't be caught dead doing something like that. And it's like, and the question is like, why? Like, why? Like, why are you going down there? Because the depths of the ocean, like you said, is so deep, bro. And it's like there's so much that we don't know about down there. So it's like there's probably creatures and so many things that that live down there that we don't even know about. Like you said, the sunlight can't even penetrate down there. So why? I'm not going nowhere where I can't see. Like I don't know, man. I'm just talking about myself, so I can't really say. Like, you know what I'm saying? But some people have that kind of that risk taking spirit. I'm a risk taker in some things, but not with my life, bro. Like I'm not taking risks with my life. So I mean, I can't see myself doing it. But what I will say is the internet is undefeated, bro. Because it seemed like nobody on the internet care about these people because they are going crazy on the internet with memes and different gifs and all kind of, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy to see, bro. It's definitely crazy to see.
Yeah, the internet, they're going to try to get their laughs. They're going to try to, do this and do that. But at the end of the day, people did lose their life. As 100%. Unfortunate as it was, they paid to, this is going to sound bad, but they paid for their funeral, so to speak. So, yeah, again, we want to send our condolences to those families. You lost somebody that you love, truly unexpected.
100%.
But hopefully, in time, everything heals from 100%,
that. Man. All right, so let's pivot a little bit more to something we talked about last week, and let's go back to Zion and Moriah Mills, man. So she's been talking
like
a
that.
lot.
Hold on, wait. Don't say it like that. Don't do my boy like that.
What I said,
let's talk about Zion. Yeah. Okay,
Zion,
there you go.
Let's talk about Zion Williamson and the situation he's got going on with adult star Moriah Mills.
Okay, because the way you said it make it seem like they married or something. Zion and Moriah Mills, you know what I mean?
That's facts. It ain't nothing like that, obviously. But
I'm sure he would try to separate himself if he could, as much as far away from this girl as he wants.
Because she's going wild on social media. Now she's going so wild to the point where they actually banned her Twitter account because she was wilding out. And there's also reports that she got a tattoo, but we're gonna talk about that later. But how do you feel about this whole situation with Moriah Mills, bro? What's wrong with Shorty?
So we talked about this situation 2 weeks ago, and up until maybe today, Saturday, maybe like Thursday, she was still going in. And then now, like you said, a lot of these social media platforms are kind of banned her or tapered her down. Whatever reason, somebody put a gag order on her or something, but she's no longer talking as badly about Zion or doing all these outlandish or saying all these outlandish things about Zion as she has been for the past 2 weeks. This is by far, fellas, the triangle is undefeated.
Undefeated,
The
bro.
Nana is undefeated.
The Punani
Yeah, you
is
know what I'm saying?
undefeated.
Like, listen, I know, like, when you get in it, you like, all right, she gonna change for me. She ain't gonna change for you, bro. If she showed you she was crazy before, she gonna be even
Even
crazier
more
after.
crazy,
So,
especially
like,
if you give it that A+ thing. I'm telling you, she's
you
gonna
know
be
what I
even
mean?
more crazy. For sure,
So,
for sure.
and then like what Zion was doing and breaking it off. Is this true? I mean, I know we've seen some pictures of her showing her bank account and receiving money from Zion, but apparently he was sending her $100,000 a month. So if you breaking her off and then sending her money, you know she gonna be crazy. Zion, she was an adult star, bro. Why you sending her 100,000?
Like he was, but according to her, like he was doing a lot for her. Like she thought she was number one because there was a tweet out there that said that where she said that she understands,
She was Nelly, huh?
ah, and number one.
Number one.
But that's what she thought. That's what she thought for sure. But she was saying that she understands what comes along with dating an NBA star, and it's going to be multiple women, so she
Apparently she did.
understands that. But apparently, if you thought that, you wouldn't act the way you acting right now,
Yeah.
because she's been going crazy. I mean, like talking about sex tapes that she's going to release. She's been tweeting at the Pelicans and at the NBA, talking
That
about
is
release him and trade
crazy
him, and he
too.
don't deserve to be in the NBA. He don't deserve to be the face of the Pelicans in New Orleans. Like she been wilding out, like and like you said, bro, it's like if you breaking her off and giving her bread, like I don't know how much he did for Shorty that he actually got pregnant, that he was seen in the gender reveal pictures and stuff like that we
Or
talked
the
about
other
2 weeks
one.
ago, or the other one that he was apparently trying to give
Or
like
the other one.
watches, but he's got so he got so many women thinking that they number one. And bro, you can't be sitting here breaking them off and pillow talking about this, that, the third, and you know what I'm saying, you my man. He doing a lot. But he's a kid, bro. Like
He's a kid.
he
This is what we did when we was that age. You
when
know
we
what I
was
mean?
that age, that's what I'm saying. Like what Zion is 23, 24? Not probably not
Something like
even.
that.
Probably
Yeah,
not even
something
that
like that.
old yet. And it's like, bro, like, and that's why I said 2 weeks ago, bro. He's living out experiences that he couldn't live out prior to him being in the NFL and having all of this power and his money. Because like even me personally, but see, we was brought up totally different. So I can't really say how I would have dealt with it and then try to relay it to his life because I wasn't brought up the way he was brought up. But it's
That you
like
know of.
that I know exactly. So it's like that thing undefeated, bro, and he
He's
losing.
undefeated.
That thing undefeated, and he losing, bro.
It seems
Big
like he's
time.
losing. Yeah, it seems like
Yeah.
he's losing. But yeah, so the thing that's funny to me is she has the bravery to be tweeting the Pelicans and so we talked about Conor McGregor earlier and how it's been said that the NBA and the Heat reportedly, allegedly paid the accuser to hush money. It's almost like Moriah Mills is trying to get exactly that. It's like, okay, he's not going to respond to me in the way I want to. Let me. And she's acting like a little child too.
She's actually a kid. She really is.
Yeah, it's like she's saying, okay, he's not giving me the attention I want. Let me tweet and at the NBA. Oh, also let me include the Pelicans. Like, girl, as you said 2 weeks ago, baby girl. You gotta stop because
calm down.
you making yourself look really, really crazy. I mean, and I'm not here to judge what you do for a living, but you're already an adult star, so people are already looking at you in a negative light. As I said, people would say that your profession is, what did I say, Sticks? I can't even remember now.
What I'm gonna say is you said basically what you said is frowned upon. Basically,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so people already look at you in a negative light. And then this happens with Zion, which everybody expects to happen anyway. So they're not really saying anything about Zion. They're more so talking about you. And maybe that's what you want. I don't know. But you're just making yourself look crazy because, as you mentioned, now you posting, I don't think it's real, but You posting that you got a tattoo on your face with his name? Girl, what is going on in
Big
New
wildin'.
Orleans or in Atlanta, wherever you at, with all
Big
this
wildin'.
mess you got going on?
I'm telling
And
you,
then you
bro.
talking about Stephen A. Smith and like, girl.
Oh, what she say about? I didn't see that. What she say about Stephen A?
Well, she was just on. So Stephen A. Smith was talking about it on his podcast, and apparently she was watching on his YouTube channel. She posted something in regards to it, and so Stephen A. Smith responded again to her. I didn't really go into it, but I know like she's really trying to get that attention.
She really is. She really is, because she's an older adult star. So I mean, in the land of sex work, the younger young lady is going to get more of the work, is going to get more of the attention. So the I guess the 20-year-old, in between the 20s, you know what I'm saying? I think she's 32, 33 years old. So I mean, and I think Zion has 22. That's a 10-year age gap, first of all. And then secondly, you're an older adult star, which you're not getting as much work as you used to. And now you're in this land of dealing with this NBA star who obviously is doing more for you than your job, your profession is doing for you. So now you're trying to hold on to that, which is cool.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like D-Lo said, man, it's like you already have the negative connotation of your profession. You're dealing with a gentleman who most people already assume is going to be dealing with multiple women anyway. We even had a comment on our last video where dude was like, I mean, he's doing what he's doing what we expect him to do anyway. What if it's 5 or 6 women? Like, what's the problem? You know what I'm saying? What's the issue? So most people are going to expect him to be dealing with multiple women anyway. And the fact that you're out here speaking this thing out loud and making it more than, I ain't gonna say more than what it is, because you are allowed to feel the way you feel, Moriah Mills, for sure. But, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the way she's going about it is kind of wild. And like you said, the tattoo, a lot of people are saying, is it permanent? Is it permanent? Did she really do it? Like, it seemed like she did. I saw a video and it seemed like she did get a tattoo, but I don't think it's a real tattoo. I don't think it's a permanent tattoo. I don't know why. I don't even know why she would even do that in the first place. If you got all this going on, like what is the tattoo going to prove? The tattoo ain't going to prove nothing at all. The tattoo's not going to prove anything at all. I don't think it's really the D-Lo, but I mean, like, Moriah, baby girl, just shut the fuck up.
Let it go.
Just let it go, dog.
The thing that kills me about this situation, prior to this week, is so many people were saying that she had him sprung and this and that, and she made him do, basically she allowed him to do whatever he wanted to do, and then it made him pay for all the stuff that he was paying for. I kind of see it the other way, so to speak. Like, because
I was about to say that. That's why I was like, what the fuck?
Just letting her talk, as she's talking herself, saying everything that she's been saying about Zion. She's been kind of spilling nuggets here and there. She said, I was going to give up the industry for you, just like you asked. Now you went and had this baby with this other girl. You still got to pay me my $100,000. And what am I going to do with my life from here on without that money? So on and so forth. I feel like Zion was the one. Yeah, she was the one that sprung. I mean, obviously money obviously plays a big part in all of our lives. It may not be as important in our lives as it is to somebody else's life, but money does play a big part. So, and I'm assuming she didn't want to be in the adult industry anyway, but she fell. I'm just going to say, I don't know for sure, but she fell into it, and then the money started to look good, and then she got somebody to take her out of it, and now she don't want to go back. So,
I mean, I definitely don't think Zion was sprung. I definitely think, because she even put out text messages out there that he was trying to, like, and for good reason. She was trying to make it seem like he was trying to shut her up, which he definitely was trying to shut her up. He wasn't trying to, like, pay her no hush money, but it was like, yo, like, we can talk exactly. And he was like, yo, we can talk about this as adults, like, we can talk about this in private, but can you please stop tweeting? Like, what are you doing this for? And especially what the text thread was saying. But to say that Zion was sprung. Zion ain't saying none of this stuff on social media. You going off. You going off on social media. That man won't sprung. He put it on her. And she baby girl put it on, man. But it's like, bro, like I don't know. I don't have nothing else to say about Moriah Mills in this whole situation. I just think like she's gone overboard. And again, she has right to feel the way she feels, but I just don't think that all of this that she's doing is going to warrant her and get her what she's looking for. I don't think that's going to happen. So I mean, he's going to have this baby. You have to live with it. Like, stop talking about this whole situation. Like, you could have called Zion up and said, "Hey, I feel some type of way. Let's figure something out." But you want to go live on you want to go crazy on Twitter and Instagram and all this, man. That's why social media to me, bro. When it comes to relationships, bro, keep that shit off social media, bro. You don't need to spill your beans in your relationship on social media, because it's not gonna make anything better. It's gonna make everything worse. Just talk to your partner. Period. Like, it ain't got nothing to do. So the world don't need to know what's going on behind closed doors. Period. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, it just dawned on me what I said. I said some would say it's not a respectable industry. That's exactly what I said.
There you go. Yeah. That's what you said. It's not. But you get your money how you get your money. But I mean, you know. And
so this is the last thing I'll rebuttal with what you just said. Many would say that it was off of social media until she found out that he was having a baby with somebody else, and then she put it all on social media. So
everything.
Yeah.
Did she try to come out and say she had a relationship at one point with Pop Smoke? Like, girl, shut the hell up.
Man, listen. Well, I'm not going to say what I was going to say. I would say keep your relationships off of social media. I would say mind your P's and Q's and who you're messing with. Like, you really got, if you want a one night stand or you want just something quick, make sure that they notice. Don't be trying to be in a relationship masking it as, don't be trying to have hit it and quit it, or what they call, I'm old.
Friends with benefits, friends with FWB.
Yeah. Nah, that ain't it.
What you talking about?
We old, bro. We don't even know the new lingo.
But we don't, and I don't want to know.
Little smash session, buddy.
You talking about a slide? You talking about the I know what you're talking about.
There's a little smash session, buddy. You can't have these little smash session buddies and then masking it. Sneaky link. Thank you. See, you gotta talk it out sometimes. We'll get there. You can't have these sneaky links and then masking it as a relationship, because when these chicks catch feelings, then you're gonna be in some trouble. And Zion, unfortunately, the whole world is seeing that your sneaky link that you masked as a relationship is now what you thought she was the whole time.
Exactly.
All right, moving on, man. Daggone. So we gonna stay with the NBA here. I think we're gonna stay with the NBA the next couple ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
So after being traded from Phoenix to the Wizards, Chris Paul is now moving to the Golden State Warriors, the Bay Area Sticks. How you feeling about this trade? I don't know how I feel about this trade.
I think it's good for Chris Paul, man, because Chris Paul has had such a negative connotation. And you went to school with Chris Paul, so he's had such a negative connotation in the public eyes here recently as quote unquote a choke artist and can't win a championship, this, that, and the third. And he's been probably the best point guard for the past 20 years. To be perfectly honest with you, I think Chris Paul is probably the best actual PG. Like, you can people can say LeBron, and here we go again, getting LeBron in here when it ain't got nothing to do with him. But people can say that LeBron has been a point forward or a point guard for the majority of his career. But as far as like a true point guard, I think Chris Paul has been the best point guard in the NBA for a very, very long time. And for him to be on a lot of different teams, he was with New Orleans for a little bit. He was with, some of his best years were in LA. Of course, here recently he's been with Phoenix, and he had that team that he had this past year, but he was kind of hampered with injuries and stuff like that. So it's like this right here, I feel like, to me, gives Chris Paul one of the better opportunities to win that championship. In that system that he has over there with Coach Kerr, with Steve Kerr, you still got Steph, which I believe that this gives Steph Curry the opportunity to play his true position, that I believe his true position is a shooting guard. So this gives him the opportunity to play his true position as a shooting guard. It gives Clay a lot of room to roam, as he always does. It takes the ball out of Draymond's hands and puts him back into his natural position as a power forward, to where Chris Paul can kind of run this offense. But that's if Draymond is still there, because they talking about still moving him, but we ain't seen that yet. But to me, bro, I think this is a good trade for Chris Paul. And I felt like after that shot in the playoffs that Jordan Poole made, I figured he was going to be out of there anyway right after that, because Steph was like, bro, I feel like he was like, bro, we got to get this nigga the fuck up out of here.
You talking about the first round, the second round with the Lakers, where he took that
30-foot shot on the left wing, like, bro,
he missed. You mean that he missed? You said made? Okay,
missed. Did I say?
Yeah.
That's he
made. Yeah, it's all
my fault.
Yeah,
the one that he missed, the shot that he missed, and it's the shot that everybody was talking about, bro. Right. I felt like he was going to be out of there anyway after that. So I mean, and they got him up out of there real quick too. So I mean, I think this is a really good opportunity for Chris Paul to get that elusive first championship. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying? And with the team that they can possibly keep together in Golden State with Chris Paul, it's going to be a dangerous team, bro. What you think?
So my NBA trade takes have been subpar.
Mine's have been pretty good. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, yours have been pretty good. So we'll see. I feel like I really don't know how to feel about this trade. One, because this trade makes Golden State a very small team. The tallest person on the team is Kevon Looney at 6'9". We just saw the Denver Nuggets win the championship powered by Nikola Jokic, which we've been talking about him for the last 3 months as well.
I'm telling you, bro.
He's changed a lot of our I know I can't speak for Sticks, but I can say he changed
he has
about his game and actually being able to watch him throughout the playoffs. And I just think like the small ball era is on its way out, especially with the resurgence of big athletic ball handling men in basketball. So with Golden State being so little, I mean, if you look at their roster, they have nothing but guards and forwards. No center, nobody over 6'9", like I said. Unless you believe the memes that Alvin Kuminga is now 7'2", which that's not true.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, but they're a small team, so I'm with you. I think this is CP's last viable chance to win a championship. But I just can't see it. I can't see it happening. One, I could be way wrong about this take. I don't see CP and Draymond gelling that well. They just have the same type of personality. And I think, you always hear when CP leaves a team, they're like, CP's an asshole, this and that, blah. I didn't see that at Wake. We were somewhat tight. I wouldn't say tight. We knew who each other were, and we could talk to each other. So he was cool. I never had no issues with him. But, hearing about his reputation in the NBA, and he was the president of the NBA Players Association. So he was a NBA's Players Association president, but everybody calls him an asshole. So I mean, I think I really don't know how to feel about it. It could be good, it could be bad. It just means like the Warriors will have to be a high-powered offensive team, because I don't see them stopping anybody on the defensive side with the size that they have right now.
Well, you know what's crazy though is Kevon Looney was one of the best offensive rebounding power forwards in the NBA this past season. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I mean, he knows how to get. He's like the, and I don't want to say this as if I'm comparing the two, but he's been over this past year or two like the Dennis Rodman of the NBA. Like he knows how to position himself. He knows how to fight for rebounds. He gives that extra effort on the offensive boards and the defensive boards. So it's like, when it comes down to a center, I mean, I guess Kevon Looney is the best for that position. But I do agree they need to get some size on that team. And if they do, like, if they work their cars well in free agency, or if they do end up moving Draymond, maybe for the reason that you said, you don't see them gelling, then, and I don't see the Warriors getting rid of Draymond personally, because they've had so much success. They had so much success with Draymond, so I feel like they're gonna find out a way to keep him if they possibly can. But if they do move Draymond, they can move him for that big man, like a Brook Lopez type, because he was on his the last year of his contract as well with Milwaukee. So we'll see what happens with it, but I feel like I think this is his best chance, probably last chance. Because with the injuries and Father Time, it might be one of those situations like Bron where he might be thinking about retirement, possibly. But I think the Chris Paul still got a year or so in him, just in case, depending on what his contract says with Golden State. I didn't look into that. I didn't look into the contract, but I just feel like this is a good trade for them and a good trade for him. But was you about to say something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say his contract. We play on sports, so I'm just be 100% with you. He has 2 years, and he can make $68 million for them 2 years. So the first year he's going to be under contract, and then the second year he is going to be. He has an option.
Player option.
Yeah. So he can opt out of that, but I don't think he will, because, like you said, he's on his last leg in the NBA, of getting those ample opportunities that he was getting before, just because he has been injury prone the last few years, especially when you make those deep playoff runs in critical games. He did it with Houston. He did it with he did it with the Clippers too. He did it with the Clippers. He did it with Houston, and then he did it with Phoenix last year. I don't think he was hurt this year, but I don't think he quite showed up how he should have. I didn't watch that series to tell you much about that, but I do know has had some injuries at critical points where he was on teams that were championship contenders.
100%.
And so that's why you're saying what you said earlier, is that they're calling him a choke artist. Injuries happen in sports, man. NBA, they play a long season. They play from, especially if you're deep in the playoffs, they're playing from October to May, June. That's a long time.
It's a long time.
I do see this as his last viable way, or last viable chance of getting that first championship ring. Does that mean he's a bad player because he doesn't have one? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
I think he is first ballot Hall of Famer.
100%.
Without question, first ballot Hall of Famer. So.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would say he's a bad player. I think most people would say, like I said, probably the best point guard in the NBA his entire career, to be perfectly honest with you. And if that's the case, then I don't think nobody would say Carmelo Anthony is a bad player. I don't think nobody would say John Stockton is a bad player. I don't think nobody would say Karl Malone's a bad player, because they don't have championships either. Charles Barkley, there's a lot of people who are Hall of Famers who don't have championships. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And to say that he's a choke artist as well, man, that's kind of crazy too, because as we've been talking about this whole debate as far as like who's the greatest of all time, the championship is a team award. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of his injuries, because his hamstring's been plaguing boy for the past like 5 years or so. His hamstring's been going crazy, and probably longer than that. But it's like, you can't say that he's a choke artist for something that the team has to put together to accomplish. You know what I'm saying? And I did watch that series. I mean, Devin Booker and Kevin Durant were going stupid that whole series. So he was kind of overshadowed. I can't say that he choked at any point, but he was kind of overshadowed by the way that Devin Booker and Kevin Durant was playing that whole playoffs. I'm not gonna lie, but he's a great player. So I mean, like D'Lo said, man, this is his last leg, his last 2 years to kind of put it together and get that championship, and it's probably his best opportunity to do so, man. So I look forward to watching the Golden State Warriors and see what they do this next year with Chris Paul and having Steph Curry at his natural shooting guard position, so that way they can go crazy. But it's gonna be fun to watch. It's gonna be fun to watch for sure.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun to watch. But getting into the next topic, the last topic of the day. Jordan is selling his majority stake of the Charlotte Hornets, which he's had since what? If I remember correctly, 2010. He's had for the past 13 years, and he's trying to get out of the ownership role, but he's also keeping minority stake in the organization as well. So, how you feel about Jordan selling the team, bro?
So I think the competitor in Michael Jordan is conceding the fact that he can't make any major impact on a sports franchise as an owner. Under Jordan, the Hornets franchise was 462 and 600, fourth worst during that time frame, that 13-year time frame. They've only made the playoffs twice, and both times they made the playoffs, they were exited in the first round. And that probably drives him crazy. So
probably so.
And then it seems like every draft he makes a questionable pick, other than maybe, I guess you could say LaMelo was a good pick. Well, LaMelo was a good pick. I'll say LaMelo was a good pick.
PJ wasn't a bad pick either. PJ Washington wasn't a bad pick either. But
okay, PJ, so but every other draft pick that they have where they've been in the lottery or they made picks that kind of like, what was that? Adam Morrison, they picked up. They just picked up some questionable ones. I mean, Adam Morrison, you look at him playing at Gonzaga, it's like, okay, I could understand that, but he did not pan out whatsoever in the NBA. But anyway, I think I pretty much feel like this is Jordan conceding the fact that he's not a good owner.
I agree with that too, and I mean it's definitely looking like that because Jordan is considered the greatest of all time in a lot of circles, right? And for the way he won as a player, I think a lot of people thought he was going to win that same way as an owner. But you got to think about it, man. As a player, you have a lot to do with the flow of the game and how the team, the winning time of the team. But as an owner, you got to sit back and watch these players that you drafted go out there and not do it. And I can see his competitive nature and that beast inside of him. Like why these motherfuckers? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a winner. Why can't they take this same winning attitude that I have and that same killer instinct that everybody say Jordan has, which he did? And why can't they take that and do the same thing that I did when I was a player? And they have not done that. Below 500 over the past 13 seasons is crazy. Like, fourth worst. The 26th, the way the article that I read said the 26th best record. Like, bro, 26th best age. That ain't the words you need to use, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? But as a business standpoint, him selling his majority stake, but still able to keep that minority stake, that's good for business for Michael Jordan, man. And I applaud him for doing that. So they're trying to figure out exactly what's going on as far as the contract and the number and how much it's going to sell for. Because I think it's been said that the team is worth about $3 billion now, and he bought the team for $250 million. So,
$275 million.
$275 million. Okay, my fault. I read wrong. My bad. But so $275 million, he's going to sell for $3 billion. That's business right there, boy. That's business, especially if he was some of the reason why that organization was able to build that much revenue and get that much stock and be worth that much over the past 13 years. That's good business for him. So shout out to Jordan for that. For sure.
I think it's in that disappointment of, it's a trade-off for the disappointment that he had on the court. He can profit the way he should profit, or that way that everybody thinks he's going to profit off of this sale. Like you said, $275 million, a little bit over a quarter of $1 billion dollars to purchase a sports franchise, and then in 13 years it's worth over $3 billion. So he stands to make $2.9 billion off of this. I mean, I don't know what the actual amount is going to be when it's all said and done. And him keeping that minority stake, does he leave some of that within the franchise so he can keep that minority stake? But even if he leaves, $500 million, which we'll get into that number here shortly. Even if he leaves $500 million, he's still going to make $2.4 billion off of this
crazy transaction.
This transaction itself. It's crazy.
Yeah, man. So do you say at $500 million? I'm still, huh?
$500 million. I'm still. So what about
how you feel about our boy J. Cole being a part of this group that's purchasing the Charlotte Hornets, bro?
I mean, it's amazing. Again, we talked about Cole, our homeboy. Well, I say our homeboy because he's from my hometown. Yeah. You know him I know of him. I believe he knows who I am, but don't really know
100%.
me like that. Don't know him like
Right,
that.
right, right.
But nah, it's we talked about his business savvy and the things that he's diving into, the things he's getting himself into. It's a good look for him. It's a good look for his team. It says a lot about his business acumen and him trying to make his mark outside of hip hop. And I think it also brings in it further blends hip hop into basketball, because we all know that athletes want to be rappers, rappers want to be athletes.
Yep.
And nobody embodies that more in the last few years than J. Cole. As we know, he's played basketball professionally overseas or in Africa. And then, he's probably one of the best rappers of our generation. So
100%.
I think it's a great look. What do you think?
I think it's a great look too, man. Especially if you notice, and I know you have. If a lot of people notice what J. Cole is doing, man, he's keeping everything at home, bro. Like the state of North Carolina, he is keeping everything wrapped around the state of North Carolina. Not just Fayetteville itself, but the state of North Carolina in general, man. He's got his Dreamville Fest that's hosted in Raleigh every year. He actively lives in North Carolina, and he's buying a minority stake. Minority stake. Okay, yeah, he's buying a minority stake in his hometown team. So I think, like you said, it has a lot to do with
you know
his.
what? You might be right. He's a part of the
He's a
team
part of the
that's
group, so he's going to have a
interesting.
minority stake. He's going to have
It's minority stake.
it's a minority stake. Yeah. So you right on that. So I mean, it definitely goes to show what his business acumen is looking like, man. Because he's always been a smart guy, and he's like D'Lo said, man, he's probably, if not the one of the best rappers of our generation. So I love what J. Cole is doing, man, because he's doing a lot for the culture. He's doing a lot for himself, because people, he's been, up until the last few years, he's been an underrated guy as far as the entertainment space has been concerned. So like I enjoy seeing J. Cole put his mark on more than just the entertainment space, because getting into this, being a businessman, it's an amazing thing for him, and it's an amazing thing for the state of North Carolina, man, because his voice is huge right now. So a lot of the things that he touches turns into gold. So hopefully this happens, especially with music. So hopefully this happens with the Hornets too, man, because he has a huge voice right now out there. His platform is huge. Even though he don't speak much, he speaks through his music, but hopefully he can put some spark into the Hornets, man, with a lot of things that he might say in these board meetings and stuff like that. So, and hopefully he helps outside with his voice and his platform, to where we can build something with the Charlotte Hornets, because over the past 13 seasons they haven't been that, and the hometown team hasn't done what they should have done under Jordan. So hopefully with this minority stake that he has, hopefully he can do something with it, bro. For sure.
Yeah. So it's a little conspiracy that's floating around right now about MJ and why he's selling this team. Have you heard it?
I have not heard the conspiracy. What is that, bro?
So apparently the main person that he's selling the majority stake to is the founder and CEO of, I want to make sure I'm saying this right. He's a founder and CEO of Melvin Capital. Okay. Melvin Capital, almost their hedge fund. So they almost went broke in 2021 betting against GameStop. So in 2021, GameStop, they were on the verge of going bankrupt, and so everybody was trying to short that stock. When you short a stock, if you're right about it being negative, then you get money from it. So it became the meme stock of the year, because Wall Street Bets, a Reddit forum on Reddit, obviously, they basically they made their own hedge fund, quote unquote, so to speak, and did a short squeeze against that stock. So everybody, all the hedge funds and everybody that was involved with, betting against GameStop, they lost tons and tons of money.
Tons of money, bro. It was crazy.
Well, Michael Jordan was one of those individuals.
Gotcha.
And the reason I said 500 million, ironically, earlier, is it's been reported that off of that stock, he lost $500 million.
Holy.
And so the conspiracy, I don't believe this, but with the history of MJ. If you understand MJ's history
he's a bad
with
man.
his gambling, with his gambling, and God rest his soul, is what's been said of why his father was, allegedly passed away and all that. It's viable.
It is viable.
So they're saying he couldn't cover that loss that he had. So the selling of the Hornets was his way of covering that bet, because it was, I believe, and then Gabe Plotkin is also he's a minority owner of the Hornets right now. So that's the conspiracy. Again, I don't believe it, but it could be viable knowing MJ's history.
It makes sense. It makes sense, man, because he's always been somewhat of a, well, I ain't gonna say somewhat. He's always been a gambling man. He's always been a gambling man. Everybody knows he gambles with little stuff. Like you even saw some of the gambling he did if you watch Last Dance, just flipping quarters from money, like just flipping quarters and getting the closest to the wall, like. You know what I'm saying? Like just flipping quarters and getting close to the wall. Like that day was gambling just on flipping quarters and his golf gambling and things like that he always did. And I mean, it makes sense for him to be, for that to happen. And that hedge fund was crazy with GameStop back in the day. Because even I was looking to put money into it myself, honestly. Yeah. But I was like, nah, I ain't, if they supposed to be going bankrupt, I ain't trying to do nothing like that. So I didn't. But that was crazy. And that does make sense. I didn't hear about that conspiracy. So that's interesting to hear. And for him to have to, for him to have to, not necessarily have to, but for him to sell it just to cover that bet, that makes a lot of sense, man. Because he's gonna bring in, like you said, at least 2.9, depending on how things shake out and what he puts his money into. But 2.9 billion to cover 500 million.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll say it again. I don't believe that is true. I think NBA teams, the value of NBA teams have skyrocketed over the last year, and 100%. He's just like cutting his losses right now. He's coming out on top by losing, so to speak, if that makes sense. Because the Hornets have not been a good franchise, but his $275 million that he put in is now 2.9 billion.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm gonna sell the team too and say, I'll continue to be around, but I'm gonna cut my losses if it is a loss.
Yeah, because I didn't try it I didn't try for over a decade now, and we ain't been doing nothing. So let me see if somebody else can do this. Now I'm cutting. Like I said, I'm cutting my losses, bro. I can dig it. I can dig it.
Yeah. My boy Sticks, episode 30. We have done 30 episodes, bro.
30 episodes, my G.
30 episos. It's crazy to think about. It's crazy to think about. We've been getting a lot of love as of late.
100%, man.
And I appreciate all of the love we've been getting, all of the engagement we've been getting on our videos. 100%, on YouTube and whatnot. So it just feels good. I know we still have a long, long way to go to accomplish the things that we set out to accomplish, to do things we want to do, but it feels good to see, episode 30 and the type of love and engagement we've been getting on this podcast. Man. It feels good, man.
Yeah, man, it does, man. We love all y'all, man. So y'all keep supporting, man, because we already know it's a marathon, not a sprint when it comes to this YouTube thing, man. So we are here to stay. We ain't going nowhere. Every single week we're going to bring y'all these bangers. So keep showing that support, man. We love y'all.
100%. This has been Too Complex. We hope that you enjoyed today's show. You can find us on any of your podcast streaming platforms, wherever you get those. Make sure that you subscribe, leave some comments, also a rating if you feel free, if you care to do that. Make sure you also subscribe to our social media channels as well. You can find us on all of your major social media channels, platforms. That would be YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Too Complex Pod would be our handle. And then lastly, remember, if it ain't too complex, it ain't complex at all. With that being said, man, we'll catch y'all next time. Salute.